Good morning. It is April Fool. Happy April Fool's Day. It's 9:30. This is the April 1st meeting of the Council on Aging, and I remind everyone that you are being recorded and it will be televised. Okay, call to order. And roll call.
Okay, we're missing two members who are away, Ms. Noel Hoover and Ms. Dorware.
Okay. Secretary's report. Has everyone had a chance to read it?
No, I've been talking.
Give everyone a moment.
Same here.
Drew, I'll accept the motion to,
Okay, now, I attached, what did I do? Confusing my dates again.
Almost 6. No. Yeah, almost 6. Have another beer. This year, drinking beer. I went right over when I go, Danny, give it in front of the boy.
Okay, this is part of the report, that the report of the outreach worker is incorporated into these minutes rather than write it all up. I meant to attach the report to them.
That's why.
yeah, we do. Okay, how we doing? We ready yet? Okay. Have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Is unanimous. Treasurer's report.
Okay.
Mr. Treasurer, how we doing?
We're doing really good. If you, it's on the back of your report, the second page. We did pretty good in March. Our balance is $16,435.94. Donation and remembrance are the same. And two anticipated one-time expenses coming in spring before the end of June are going to be the deep clean of the building, which includes all the windows, and that's $1,500. And Broulette's service contract is going to be $750. That's going to come in May when they get the system ready for the summer. So it's going to be $2,250, and but that still keeps us in really good shape. We could average $4,700 for the last few months and still, you know, before we use up all the stuff, and we're averaging. I look back on last year, and we spent $1,200 less this year than we did. So, and part of that is because the winter was so mild.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions, comments?
I just want, because I never remember this stuff, I gotta write notes for myself. Now, the donation account, what do we use that for? Usually.
Speak to
Well,
that.
we can use it for basically anything we want. We can use it for, you know,
We bought the TV from
I
that.
was
watch
just
the
gonna say
TV from
that.
that. Yeah, we can pretty much use that for anything we want. We're not restricted to it, to using it. And also, it's a nice cushion if we ever do have an overrun.
Right.
For expenses, we could always tap into that.
That's good.
Yeah, we did, and I don't recall what it was. It was something we were concerned that we might go over. We always have that to fall back on. But that should go for things like, you know, if we need new chairs or something of that
yeah.
nature. Whatever we need. The last one that I remember anyway is the TV.
I couldn't remember which account that came out of. Now, the remembrance account, what do we do with that?
Well,
The remembrance accounts, we pretty much hold, it's the same thing, but we pretty much.
basically the same thing. Money, people donate money in remembrance of maybe a past member and so forth, but it's really a donation. For some reason, I don't know how many years back, someone decided to keep them in two separate accounts. Don't know if it really matters.
I think what happened many years ago, there were these two sisters who left thousands and thousands of dollars to the COA. And I think that they used it to buy most of the furniture and the things that were in here.
Right?
Well, finally, the last $5,000 was used years ago. But there was, people started to donate again, and there was some major donation of about $5,000 or $6,000 that somebody brought in just before I got here. And so it just started accumulating again. People started, in memory of people started donating.
If memory serves me right, a couple of years ago, we approached the town accountant, said, why don't we combine them? And he suggested that we leave them separate.
Yeah.
But it's basically money that the board deems, you know, appropriate for whatever we may need to keep the place running, or our activities that we put on.
And then there's a revolving account too.
We do have a.
Then there was a
Yeah.
revolving account too.
Really?
That's
Is
standard with all
different.
departments.
That comes in, money that comes in goes to pay the, right now, the exercise people, the
Oh,
person
yeah,
in there,
yeah.
Tai Chi, all the instructors
Oh,
get
yeah.
paid out of that.
And the
Out of the
breakfast,
revolving account,
the
the breakfast, and things, wherever we take money in, goes into the revolving account and comes out of the revolving account. So it just comes and goes out of it, and it's,
There's a limit to that, right?
there's a limit of 15,000.
But that's the same, I mean, Park and Rec has a revolving account, all the departments that run activities, they do the same type of stuff.
And I think it's approved, is it still approved every year, or are we on a 3-year
I'm
cycle?
trying to think. We might be on a 3-year cycle,
Yeah,
I'm not positive.
Cause I think they get sick of appointing us every year, so they, I think they went into a 3-year cycle, all of us, Park and Rec.
Oh, yeah.
I think Highway has one too.
Probably do.
And so we all get
Yeah, I did.
approved every year.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
Can I ask a question?
you certainly may.
Where does the revolving account come from? Is that from the town?
No, the revolving account is set up so that all the money that comes in from the movie,
Oh, I see.
chair yoga,
Okay.
you know, all those where people pay a fee.
Oh, all right.
It go-
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
It goes into the revolving account, and then when we pay for example, the bill for the breakfast, for the food, that comes out of it. When we go to pay the vendors, such as the aerobics instructor, comes out of there. So
Okay.
it comes in, it flows out, those are the things it's used for. So it's
Okay,
very
thank
handy.
Think of it like your
Yeah.
checking account, you put your pay in there,
Deposit and
and
withdrawal.
then you write the checks to pay your bills from it. Well, we
But
put our receipts in there from activities, and we pay our bills.
And all the vendors are paid out of there, Tai Chi, all the instructors. And we use it sometimes when we have to pay for, like if Sue's gonna be doing a workshop, floral workshop. If we needed things for that, we pay out of it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Motion to accept.
Okay, more discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, very good.
Mike, could you get Peggy?
Yep.
Thank you.
Every time I come here, I sit and read.
It is, it is. It used to be all,
My blood pressure was down and stuff, and I should have changed that up. But you still
did it go donations?
No idea. I don't know how,
Probably came out of the.
I don't know how they would have done it.
I would have thought I would have to start somewhere, that's why I was wondering.
The idea is not to.
Good morning, Peg.
Hi.
Not asking.
Peggy, are you in a low chair?
I know.
Still exalted.
Last morning.
So you get a deposit.
It was right there, Liz, I couldn't leave it alone.
I don't know, maybe this is a low chair.
So John, how long were you in that movie? How long was your
14 seconds, I timed
Okay.
it. The movie's called Labor Day.
It seemed
If you
longer.
got nothing to do on a Sunday
It
afternoon,
seemed
watch the
longer.
movie. That's me sitting at the bar, just like a hillbilly. Oh, they gave me the clothes to wear as well, oh yeah. You don't mess
I'll
around.
wait till it gets around.
Just ignore him.
This is like being a teacher.
All right, getting back to the meeting. And I did not get nominated for Academy Award, I did. Getting back to the meeting, outreach, Miss Peggy, do your thing.
All right, the total contacts for the month of March were 54. And you can see the breakdown, this is how I'm gonna break it down every time now. Shine, case management, fuel assistance, general information, and client finding. The client finding, I'm calling the people who call me, and I eventually get to see them, so that's good. Under the highlights, the Shine meeting we had on March 6th, we had a guest, Catherine LeBlanc from Social Security. Now, I don't really do a lot with Social Security, but I need to know general things. She went into some depth about, you know, how it is they figure out what you're gonna pay for B and all this stuff, and I sort of like, I took notes, but I looked at them and I thought, I really don't have to do this, cause I refer people over there. But I generally know the more your income, the more your Medicare Part B might cost you. It's based on the previous year's income, and if your income goes down, you can get a deduction from it. I think the baseline is $134 and some cents. Most people have that. I don't think it goes below that. Anyway, she talked a lot about Social Security, about little benefits that you can get, and you can always ask them about things if you think Social Security is being unfair to you. She went on about how, you know, we had a lot of questions to her about how it is that we can't get a hold of people in Social Security very easily, and how come we have to wait 25 minutes on the phone, you know, and she can't answer really, it's just that they're overwhelmed, kind of. We just have to be patient. A senior's family came, the second paragraph, came to me from the All-American Assisted Living, and I've seen several there. Their families come to me and their loved one is there. A lot of them have drug insurance plans, Medicare Advantage plans, that the doctor in the house doesn't take. So they land there and they're not able to use their insurance. So anybody who moves into a facility like that has an opportunity to change, but the only kind of plan that they'll take are the sort of expensive plans. So, and then there's a pharmacy called Eaton Pharmacy, I think it is, in Easton, that will only take certain drug plans, so you have to be very careful. And I talked to the nurse practitioner there, and she said there are many patients there who need help. They now are considered living in Raynham. They need help because their insurances don't cover their, you know, any of their doctor's visits or their drugs. I said, well, that's okay. I'm happy to take people, but just don't give them all to me at once.
So, I understand. There's a resident doctor there, or?
There is.
Okay, and he doesn't take?
He doesn't take Advantage plans.
He doesn't take it. I assume Medicare applies, though.
Plain Medicare, but they'd have to pay the 20% remainder.
Right, I understand that,
Yeah,
but he does take the.
Oh, yeah, he takes Medicare.
Okay, you know, it's interesting, and I think I've told this story before. My mom, who's 92, her primary care physician will no longer take any type of insurance.
Oh.
Not at all. We pay, my sister and I bear the burden of $175 a month that we pay that doctor. And my mother can visit as often as she likes. There's no restriction at all. But she won't take Medicare, she won't take anything at all. Because she was just tired of fighting with them all the time about how much and so forth.
How about if she goes in the hospital, what happens then?
Well, she still has Medicare, obviously, you know, yeah. So I assume they'll still pay and so forth, yeah.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, she wasn't, well, I don't remember, we had an incident where we found her unconscious on the floor. So she now lives with my sister, but nevertheless, yeah, her doctor won't take anything at all. She's just, and you know, you talk to a lot of doctors and they're kind of fed up with the way things goes. And besides the Medicare restrictions and so forth, a lot of these hospital groups now are putting restrictions and requirements on these doctors. And my original primary care physician that I had for years and years, he said, I've had enough. He retired, left the business. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I don't have to mention which one he was with, but he just got tired of all these pushing and whatever.
It's good doctors too that we're losing many times.
Anyway, sorry for the distraction.
That's okay, so I'll be having quite a few people hearing from them, I'm sure. Then the bottom paragraph tells about a senior in the community, and one of the people on the board knows about this senior. Who didn't have any water in her house. She had frozen pipes since January. The water was shut off at the street. Her son was living with her and didn't work, 39 years old. He had lost his mass health. He had no income, was in jail, had been in jail, on drugs. No bathroom fixtures working, very unsanitary conditions. They were, I hate to tell you how they were doing. I won't tell you, you don't have to tell them. Anyway. And then a plumber she'd had out there had given her an estimate of $5,000. And she had said she had gotten $1,600 from her homeowner's insurance, which you can if you have frozen pipes, I guess. But she wasn't sure she had the whole amount left. She wasn't quite sure. But what I did was, because of the unsanitary conditions, I did make a protective services report. She's a senior, and I thought they were at risk because there was like a dead end. She couldn't pay a plumber that much money. So I made a protective service, and they screened her out. They said, no, she's capable of doing her own things. Well, maybe capable, but did she have the incentive to do it? No, and she just sort of sat in all this and said, I don't know, I'm just overwhelmed. So I made a visit to her and made some calls. I called information and referral at Bristol Elder, and they told me about some loans that were possible, but she isn't going to be, she's not going to be encouraged to do that herself. I'm going to have to do that for her. Anyway, I made a home care referral, and they said she can get services, but not until she gets plumbing done. And the case manager visited. I called the Board of Health and talked to the Matt there, and he made a home visit, and he and the veterans agent and people in the community that are helping are all pitching in for this lady. I'm really happy about how the community came together.
If I may interject,
Sure.
the final analysis of that is brought Matt and Tyler into the same room and came up with a plan. They visited
Great.
Bristol Plymouth, wrong one, and got them to agree to supply the labor to fix the pipes. And Michaela is involved with people at Lowe's, because they're very veteran prone. If you ever go there, you can get a discount if you're a vet. And they're willing to supply the material up to a certain amount. So between those two and what this young lady has from the insurance company, I don't think she's still at the 1,600. I think she's around 1,000 right now. It should be able to cover the expense over the next few weeks, so which is a good thing, because you know, when I heard about the conditions, I thought, this is how do you live like that?
I know. It was
It's scary.
Michaela spoke to me, right, and she's very involved, and she's fine.
Yeah.
Spoke to you Friday about the difficulties of
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it was. When I went to see her, there was a lot more involved than I was aware of at the time. But nevertheless, it's being solved. That's the important
Some
thing.
people are overwhelmed with what they have, and they really have, I can see that I might do this myself, but they just give up. You know, they just sit there and say, I don't know what to do, you know, so they do need help. And I'm just pleased that everybody came together. I decided that I would back off from this, and I have told Michaela, and I haven't told Matt yet, but I'm just gonna let the community do what they're doing, because I think they're gonna solve the problem and don't need another person in there. So that's kind of interesting.
That's the last I heard, that it was done. It was a done deal.
Great. Okay, and Betty's working on the Coraline Cronin Easter home meals. She's calling the people that are homebound, people who might like this. She every year she loves to do this, because she just loves to call people.
He
And
sits at a
talk to
little
them.
desk there and makes the phone calls.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I'm very happy she's doing that. So that's it.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Just, okay, I do have a comment, and that's in terms of seniors and so forth. I just read about the latest scam on seniors. Okay, people come up with original things. You receive a phone call that says they say they're calling from Social Security Administration. You see that one?
Yeah.
You it? Okay, well, I'll tell you the details. They say that your Social Security number has been linked to a drug deals or transactions of that nature. So they want you to verify your Social Security number. Why? What a surprise! Or if you don't cooperate, then they're going to cancel any of your Social Security benefits. Now, it did the thing that I read didn't go into how many people have been fooled by it and so forth, and it's just unbelievable.
I
The people that are out there.
also written about a 90-plus-year-old lady that recently was scammed by Publishers Clearinghouse.
Really?
And she said, oh, Peggy, they sounded so good. And they told me I'd won $1 million, but I had to send this money down in cash and undercover to this person way down in Timbuktu. Well, she sent the money, and then after she sent it, she realized this couldn't be real. So she called UPS and the major station down there where she sent it. She said, hold that package. And the police, Jenny Pohl and I, the police officer, and I went out to see her, and we told her, oh no, this isn't going, this really, probably this is part of the scam, you know, and you probably will never see your money. It was $1,600, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, so she called me not too long ago, and she said, Peggy, you'll never believe this. They stopped the package. I got all my money back.
Wow.
And I texted Jenny, and she just, big wow, she wrote back to me. It was unbelievable. She got it back, but she was fooled.
Yeah, it's scary. I'll share a personal experience. I got a text on Saturday saying it was from JetBlue, my MasterCard.
Oh.
They said that your card just had a $57 charge at Stop and Shop.
Oh.
And I have this card, obviously, to collect the points for flight, but I only use it for vacation type stuff, so I haven't used it in months and months, maybe even a year. And type yes if you did this, no if it's not, and call this fraud number. So I called the number, and the guy was asking a lot of questions. I mean, it's one thing, you usually give your name and the last 4 digits, or your credit card last 4 digits, and so, but verify your address and all that. I said, you know what, we're gonna stop right here.
Yeah.
I said, because you're asking too many questions. You should know the answers to this. I said, you tell me what my address is, and I'll tell you if it's right. Okay? He said, well, I can't do that. It doesn't work that way. I said, well, then just cancel the card. Okay, I will. Well, I later went and dug out one of my old JetBlue bills, and the phone number happened to be the same. So it was legit. I called them, and I said, by the way, where was the charge made? She said, well, Stop and Shop. I said, yeah, I know that, but where? Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Oh, I don't know anybody in that area. And by the way, I can't find my card for the life of me.
Oh.
For the life of me. Now, can't think of a time that I've ever been in Pittsfield where I would have left the card there and so forth, but who knows? I might have lost it somewhere, and that's where it ended up. Well, they obviously reversed the $57, and I won't have to worry about that anymore. There's going to be a new card.
I think when you get those emails, and never, even if I think it's a legitimate email, I'll always go to the bill and call that number or the back of the card, never what's on the
But and I see how people get scammed like that, because when you get a notice of that type, your first reaction is panic.
Yeah.
Before reason sets in, it's panic that sets in, right? It's they got to my money. I'm going to get a bill for $40,000 from JetBlue.
Well,
I can buy a plane.
I had identity theft because I got notified through Citibank.
Mhm.
I have a charge card there. They were trying to open credit cards in my name.
Mm-hmm.
The odd thing is, the credit cards that were open came to me,
Oh, jeez.
which I never opened. So that's the odd part, and that was probably the good part, because, but then
Yeah.
I had a call, I canceled so many
So many
credit
things,
cards,
yeah.
all store credit cards.
Yeah.
I only have 2 major ones.
Mhm.
But, I mean, it was a nightmare for a while,
Yeah.
because they were trying to go to banks and get loans.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll do mortgages, they'll do loans.
No, it wasn't I think it
Well, I'm
was
just
a,
saying,
yeah,
they will
okay,
open, they will.
But
do
I mean, I
mortgages.
was getting notified from Bank of America that they were trying to get a loan. So I mean, it is scary there, it really is.
Unfortunately,
I
people
live
like
by
that,
one
right?
rule. If I'm gonna use a credit card, the person I give the card to has to swipe it right in front of me. If they're gonna walk away to swipe it, you don't give them your credit card, because they do this
Well,
with
the
us.
restaurants, they do.
Well,
They don't.
However, in Europe, they don't. They come to your table.
with
a little
the,
swipe
device,
up.
and they'll swipe it right in front of you.
Olive Garden has one at the table.
That's what they do now in
Yeah.
a lot of restaurants. I was
Yeah,
at two
right at the
restaurants
table.
in the last 2 weeks, and they came right to the table. They took the order on the thing.
Oh.
And
Oh, yeah.
then they came back, and right there they do it. The whole thing.
I think what's the one up in Chili's, the unit in Applebee's, the unit's right on the table.
Yeah. Few of them
The waitress
do
doesn't
have
have
that,
to be
you're
involved.
right.
But yeah, in Europe,
It's
they never
scary
take your
though.
card away. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Peg.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we didn't take the vote. All in
Yes.
favor?
yes, we did.
We did? Oh,
We're done.
jeez. I got carried away.
I'll move this right, I keep it moving right
See
along.
now, in the movie, that would have been a tape, another tape. That's for your benefit. Okay, Director, you're up.
I'm not going to say anything. Oh, the last tax days for the season are today and April 8th. We were fortunate to have to reschedule only one day this winter because of inclement weather, and the tax preparation days have been averaging 18 people per day. One day we had 23. There have been a few glitches, printer headaches, overwhelming use of the IRS system, which has delayed us, and people not bringing all their documents. Which I should add that they know what they're supposed to bring because they're told, and it's been reprinted countless times in the newsletter. But for the most part, everything has run smoothly because of Kathy Piper, George Phillips, and Jennifer Bigelow. We're preparing the taxes, and Yvonne Quinlan for booking appointments. We've had so far, now that I said this, we'll probably have one. We've had no crazy people coming in and demanding anything or carrying milk crates.
Well, you can make that
Carrying milk
statement.
crates because they own 3 triple deckers in Brockton. These are simple tax returns, and finally we have gotten that word out there, so things have been going really well. Last year they did $57,000 worth of circuit breakers, and this year we think they're going to go over that. And
How about number of people? Total people for the.
last year it was 160.
This year?
This year, well, we're averaging 18 a week, so I would say we've probably done
Oh, this is per day, 18 per day,
18
wow.
per day.
Yeah.
Well, we do 1 day a week.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
it's in a
okay,
week.
yeah.
So I imagine we've probably gotten well over 100 now.
Yeah, we're probably close to
Yeah.
last year's. if not
So
more.
it's been,
Good.
it's, down to them that it's been really, it's really been another great season. Project 351, when you came in, you probably saw a lot of stuff in the lobby, a lot of bags and boxes and clothes. And it's Julia Mitten's project, the 351, every city in town has a student who had a project. Hers was to collect new and gently used clothing for children ages infant and up to 12. And she has done a fantastic job, and the people of Raynham and other people who have visited this building have done a fantastic job donating. It started off slow, but it really picked up, and I don't even know how much stuff is out there. But we'd like to thank everybody who did donate. It was really remarkable how much stuff came in, and thank you. And I'm sure Julia will be thanking you too. The Red Sox game is on April 9th, and we've got 50 people signed up. It's being paid for by the Earmark Grant, and we've got a lot of great free raffle items out there, people. America, I'm telling you now. If they don't win, I'm burning it all. So what's going on with that, right?
What? With
The Red Sox.
Oh.
Come on. I mean, Yvonne's gonna, run out into the street screaming if something good doesn't happen. And 50 people may cancel, so.
They're usually slow starters, right?
No.
No.
Sometimes.
No, they
have
aren't.
to.
Sometimes they-
Yeah, sometimes they happen.
Then they go on to win.
The bullpen's the only thing that's any good.
No.
No.
Anyway,
Moving
moving
right
right
along.
along.
Moving right along.
You can
Laughter
go
as
to,
we
you
do.
can go to
Laughter.
the laughter. on the
Laughter,
front of the
on the
page.
4th, getting, so
There you
we'll
go.
know our breathing exercises.
Yeah, let's
Laughter
talk
on the
about the
4th.
left.
Senior centers throughout the state have been using these people over the past couple of years. It uses laughter to relax and calm the body, and also to assist with breathing. We have about 24 people signed up to come in for it, and it helps you to breathe and use your laughter to exercise your lungs, your chest, your heart. And it's apparently, it works from everything I've heard from people who have attended it. You don't need it. You don't need it, dear. You got me. You got me, dear. You got me. Foxwood's trip on April 11th is filled, and there's no waiting list. It appears we'll be able to keep the price at $15 per person because we have enough people to fill the 56-seat bus. We were going to go up to 20, but as long as we don't make money on this. We just take in enough money to pay for the bus. The other trips this year are June 20th, August 1st, and October 10th. We don't do it in the winter because it's really a problem to try to. We only had one real problem when last year it snowed and we had to get the bus the next week. We had to cancel the trip. People had to park over there. And so it's better and that was in March. So that's why we start in April now. So we can avoid that. If you look at the bottom, you see these special programs and events coming in April and May. And including, Sue's gonna tell you something in a minute, she doesn't know that, she is. Yes, you like that
Yeah, I
TikTok,
like
huh? Is that creative? Or what? The senior center will be closed on April 15th for Patriots Day and May 27th for Memorial Day. The annual town meeting is May 20th at the Raynham Middle School. And the annual Memorial Day parade is May 25th, starting from Merrill at 10 a.m. So,
And election day is April 27th. Get out and vote. It's a Saturday. Polls are open at the Raynham Middle School from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
So I guess, that's it. Oh, Cast Week, in the Raynham schools, you'll see it in the newsletter. Again, we're looking for people to still come in, as far as I know, we still need people,
Yeah.
right? To come in and talk about your lives or.
Yeah, share an experience with a student, what you did for a living. If you're retired now, which most of us are, that kind of stuff.
How long were you there?
Well, it all depends on how long you talk.
And what age groups are we talking?
Well, I do the middle school. I do 6th graders, so they're what, 11 years old, something like that. I bring my antique car there and.
It only goes up
around
to
it.
6th grade?
No, I don't believe it. Probably all of the middle school, yeah. Probably K to middle school would be my guess. But I'm not positive of that. But if you're interested, you know, former policemen might want to talk about.
Well, I
being a
would,
policeman
but
back in the
it would
day.
be to an older group, not 3rd or 4th graders.
Yeah, yeah.
Because everything would go flying over their head.
Well, I can remember, I think I did 6th or 7th grade.
I know I did
Yeah.
6th.
Yeah, I'll do, yeah,
I was lucky enough to do
7th,
my son's class.
7th, 8th, like that would be good.
Yeah, and they'll
could
take,
do
in the
that.
middle school, you know, they're set up in pods, you know,
Yeah.
different teachers, the four,
Yeah.
and you'll talk to the whole pod at once. You don't have to do it like 4 times.
Okay.
All right?
Sign me up.
Podcast, yeah.
Suzanne, can you just tell them about the good news about your flower arranging 101 and what happened?
Well, I've been asked before that we've done the winter arrangements that are things that are collected from your yard. And I asked Liz, because it had been asked of me, to do a flower arrangement with fresh flowers. But that involves a cost because you can't go out in the yard and pick them yet. So I went and approached the flower manager at Shaw's, and she told me that they usually give the day-old flowers to organizations that will use it for a nominal fee. I'm gonna have to buy the leather fern and baby's breath like that, but most of the flowers will be donated.
Super.
Yeah. So it'll just be like a $2 fee for anyone that wants to sign up quickly.
And it's only like $20 for the furniture.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I found a whole bunch of oasis, which if you've never decorated, it's the sponge stuff that your flowers are in.
Yeah.
At the Stone Church, they said it's been there since about the 60s. So, but I've used it and it seems to work fine. So that would be the other cost, would be the oasis. So, and I'm a one-trick pony. It's the same thing as with the yard find, only this will be live. So instead of being flower arrangement 1.0, this is 1.1. Yes.
And we want to thank Shaw's for doing that for us, and we're gonna remember that. We're gonna be
Yes.
running over there, getting those day-old flowers now
Definitely
and
will
then.
do it again if we
Yeah.
can get
They,
them supplied.
they do a lot of community work. We get a bunch of stuff at the food pantry from them. Sometimes we don't realize how much it's going to be when we get there, and they're pallet after pallet for us. With this, what is it? What's the name of the program? Do you remember?
I don't know, it's like their community outreach program, they
You
give.
go to the register, and they have a list of items that you can donate, and you tell them which one, and they charge you for it. And then at the corporate level, they accumulate that, and they pack them on pallets. And they call me, and we go down with a U-Haul and pick it all up. Spirit of Giving.
Yes, that's it, spirit of giving, you got it, thanks.
They do that once a year for us, and I'll tell you, it's a lot of, you can take it from the guys who have to lug it into and out of the truck. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff,
Anyway.
it's all cans.
So they're
most
a good organization
heavy
like
stuff.
that.
All right, motion on
please.
Liz's report.
Thank you for remembering that.
Second.
Any second?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Ooh, that was good
Here.
in the bill.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Super. Thank you, Liz.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any correspondence? No, well, that was easy. Whole business.
The final signing bids are gonna be open on April 12th at 11 a.m., it's Friday, in the selectman's office. 3 contractors have looked over the building in the last few weeks. And as far as I know, that's been it, because they've been nice enough to come in or call me and say they're coming. And, you know, I haven't seen them, but they've been calling me and saying that they're gonna be.
Are they the only ones who bid? Excuse me.
They're the only ones who've looked at the building.
Okay. Just to see how many people did bid. Okay. Any other old business? Anyone can?
Yeah, the dumpster, there's bags of trash out of the dumpster blowing on over on those.
Right, well, he was just here.
It's
When I
not
was
snowed
pulling-
in anymore, so,
When I pulled in the lot, he was there emptying it.
Yeah.
right, when I pulled in, there was a bag loose
On the top.
over, going over towards the water there.
All right, you gotta talk to the cleaning folks, right?
Well,
No, they're getting a big, we're supposed to get a bigger one.
Oh, get a bigger
It's
one,
never
okay.
been
they're
delivered,
too small.
so I think it's time to get the big one here soon,
Okay.
especially with Red Sox Day and all that stuff.
Anything else? Old business? No? Okay, new business. We welcome a new associate member.
Yes,
Cheryl Bowen.
welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Have you gotten anything from? Okay. They approved it, so, okay, I'll check into that with the selectmen. See what-
I'm trying to remember, did you guys get sworn in? You were so,
I
you were
did.
so, okay. Eventually, Marcia will have to, you know, I solemnly swear to uphold the laws of the United States and the Council on Aging.
Then we gotta do the ethics training together.
Yeah, I've done mine already this year. It's, you can't fail. Fortunately, if you answer it wrong, they're gonna keep asking you that question till you pick the right answer, so.
It's probably not here for some of this stuff.
All right.
I missed it.
Welcome again, Michelle.
Yeah.
Lucky Charms,
Yeah, Lucky
TLC.
Charms, it's a group that's been going around to various senior centers offering donations, yeah. So we asked for 2 large griddles and a coffee pot, which we're gonna receive shortly, to help us with the breakfast, and also we've been using the griddles to do the hot dogs and things for different,
Great.
instead of boiling them.
Lakeville trips.
Lakeville trips, we are looking at the possibility, I'm gonna pass this around, you can just look at it. That's the trips that they're doing now. Running trips in collaboration with Lakeville because they don't always fill their motor coaches. They use BRS Tours in Bridgewater for their trips, and a list of the trips to be taken this year is available. We're also waiting for finalizing the trips with Tim McRae and the director of the Park and Rec. He's working with Lucini, and we'll have many options to offer residents. Also, with the trips that he's gonna be doing with us, they're also gonna be the same situation. We're gonna have a bus shared with another community, because we're probably not gonna be able to fill it. And right now, we're looking at the flower show in Rhode Island, in Providence. We're looking at 2 plays, and something else he mentioned. Some tour, bus tour somewhere.
Is it on this list here?
No, this is Lakeville. This is
Oh,
the
okay,
Lakeville.
okay.
So, looks like we're gonna have some options for people to go to, and, of course, if the time ever comes where we find we're turning people away, we can always go with our own bus,
Yeah.
our own solo bus.
Super.
What will have to happen, though, is that on our end, unless he's gonna take care of it on his, he and I haven't spoken about this yet, there's gonna have to be sort of a monitor from us or him to be on the bus, who's gonna be able to handle situations.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, Sandy does it for us on the Foxwoods trip.
Yeah.
We're not gonna let a bus go with just the bus driver and a load of people.
Mhm.
Now, maybe BRS or Lucini has a person that they send who's gonna be in charge, but we need to find out who that person's gonna be, or if we have to supply them one of us. Because we're gonna need somebody who, in the event of an emergency, in the event of anything happening, that they're gonna be able to take over. and deal with the situation. I know that a lot of the tour companies, if not all of the tour companies now, have somebody trained in CPR and first aid. So we're gonna handle that. There's not gonna be any trip going on its own.
That's a good thing. More things we offer, the better. Okay.
Do you want to see this?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. All right, what's next? Combined
Combined
breakfast.
breakfast. Men's and women's pancake breakfast will be held in July and will include regular flavored pancakes, bacon, fresh fruit, coffee, and tea. And we hope this combined breakfast will increase the number of attendees. We're just gonna try it out, see what happens, and which is one of the reasons to get the extra griddles too, so that we could have,
You got bacon on the list, so it's gotta be a success. Everybody loves
Yeah.
bacon.
Okay, but having served the pancakes for the last 2 or 3 years since I've been here at every breakfast, a lot of people do not eat pancakes for whatever reason.
Gluten-free
Either
is
health
usually
reason, gluten, whatever it is. I'm serious. There's always a ton of pancakes left over. I'm not trying to
No, I'm
throw
not-
water on your pancakes.
It-
I'm just saying, it's
I
an
inherited that,
observation.
Jim. That's
I
not
know.
my pancakes.
It's an observation,
I'm just
because
being
I'm the
fresh.
one that puts them on the thing, and a lot of people will pass it. They'll eat the whole thing of beans, but they don't touch pancakes. So, without having eggs on here, I don't
What are you gonna toast?
think you're gonna have too many.
Well,
No,
I
just
think you're
it
fine
says
with the
pancakes and
it's the
bacon.
gluten issue,
Oh, yeah.
because everybody seems to be gluten.
Yeah, everybody's doing
we
gluten.
can make
So,
gluten-free.
I was gonna say, there is, one of the options might be gluten-free pancakes, and they are gluten-free everything.
Yeah.
There's an issue with that.
Yeah,
Better
most
get
of it
extra
tastes
syrup
better
if they're
nowadays too.
gluten-free.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Well, John and I went to a pancake breakfast, and they didn't have pancakes, so.
Wow.
Over on Mill Street at the Legion,
They have
remember?
any pancakes?
They advertised it as the pancake breakfast.
Oh, yeah, and they had bacon
You and
and
I
eggs.
went, and there was no pancakes.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, wow,
Still a
okay.
breakfast.
Maybe for the same reason.
Don't know.
Bacon and eggs. They had bacon and eggs, they didn't have bacon. I don't know what happened with the pancakes.
On the
It
ticket,
was
it
all right.
said
It
pancake
was
breakfast, it was for
a fundraiser.
a
so-
fundraiser or something.
But it was a good breakfast, it was reasonably priced.
What
Oh,
we
was
doing
it?
here?
It was the
Oh,
veterans.
'cause it-
Yeah, the veterans rent, yeah. Yep.
Sponsored
Pancake breakfast, no pancake.
Whatever. All right, but
Anyway.
you know, I for a long time I've been in favor of this combined thing because especially on the men's side, I always come to the men's breakfast whether I'm serving or not because it's the best deal in town. For $4.50, it's twice that anywhere else to get bacon and eggs. But the numbers have been dwindling, especially on the men's side.
You know, I've gotta,
Even the
we've
women's.
gotta think of something to do. I mean, we can't do toast because toast is gonna get cold.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, pancakes, I mean, I don't know, French toast, I mean, what do you do?
Well, we did one, if you remember,
Donuts.
one time I got a big package of frozen French toast from,
Yeah, yeah, we
what's
did
the
that,
name
we
of
did
that
that in
place?
the griddle, yeah.
It's got a new name now that I forget, but it used to be,
Boy.
no, up in Taunton Industrial.
Used to
the
be
food
a
distributor.
big guy.
It used to be Perkins.
Yeah, it used to be Perkins, and I think that's the new name, Gordon's is it now? And that went over pretty well. We did them on the grill like we did pancakes. I mean, we still have an account with them, I assume?
Yeah, yeah.
Muffins
Or-
and coffee cake too.
You know,
Could do with that as well, but
or-
I thought the French toast went over real well.
Yeah. Well, we could even do those, you know that French toast thing that you bake?
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
big trays, we could do that, I mean, that
Well,
would-
as I said, let's see how this goes, and maybe we want to consider doing both gluten-free and non-gluten-free and see how that plays, just so we have
And this would
something
be
to
what,
take
the
and eat.
last Monday of July? Because July's,
that's usually when the-
July is
I think it's July.
vacation
Yeah.
month for people,
What did I say?
Yep, held in July.
right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying July is a month that everybody
Well,
takes
is it
up.
the last or the fourth?
Oh, they
We
do.
usually do the fourth.
No,
The
Fourth
fourth
week.
Monday,
fourth
we
Monday,
usually
right.
do. And that's the 22nd. Whatever it is,
Yeah,
you'll figure it out and so
okay.
forth. But we'll give it a try. But I was starting to say, the men's numbers have gone down significantly, and then the last week, the
women's
women's, that was
was
get, I don't know if they were
18,
18 people here.
20.
And the women usually fill the room.
Right.
But, so, let's see what we can do. And I think, if we make it combined, I think husband and wife teams will come. With maybe men who don't normally come, by themselves will come with the wives, because the wives will grab them by the ear and say, we're going for breakfast. You know, I'm hoping.
That's what I want,
I'm
people in
hoping.
there who get dragged by the ears.
Myself, I wanna see the room
Yeah, we
fill.
should, yeah.
I know, I know.
Anyway, okay. Anything else? Any other new business? Anybody wants to talk about, tell us about?
Motion.
Second.
Motion for what? Did you just move? Is that what the motion was? Or is there
First
something
word she
specific
said.
you wanna tell us?
No,
Motion for what?
you asked if there was anything else, and nobody said anything, so motion to accept.
Oh, to
I
accept,
thought you were adjourned.
No, not adjourning, not
Oh,
yet.
that's what I was
I was
calling.
thinking.
I'm sorry.
for this report, we don't usually
We don't
take a
do
vote for this,
motions,
but if it
okay.
makes you happy, all in favor?
No,
Aye.
never mind, never mind.
Okay. Now, is there any other motions?
Go ahead, Pat, you're on.
Motion to adjourn, go ahead, Pat.
Motion
your
to
turn.
adjourn, oh,
Second.
nice, 10:15, you did.
All in favor?
Like a ship's bell, isn't it?
It does, that's all.
Very good.